We know that in America, if you are 40 or older, there's 75% chance that you will be diagnosed with a chronic condition. And typically, chronic conditions are associated with one or more medications. So we're going to talk about two scenarios today. Number one, you have a diagnosis and or medication, and maybe what's underlying that. Like, why do you even have that diagnosis? We're going to talk about that. And then number two, maybe your blood work's totally normal, but you know there's something wrong. Like, you just know it. So a couple things here. Here's a cell. We know we have to get information in a cell, and then we have to get toxins out of a cell. And along with our DNA, we have millions of amazing processes going on. Let's say you don't feel well. The first thing that usually happens is you go see your general practitioner. They're going to do blood work. If it's typically looking like it's thyroid related, they're going to do your TSH and your T4. Okay. Now we know that there are many other factors involved, but that's just standard. Unfortunately, there are no research studies saying that a high or low TSH level is going to be directly related to the function of your thyroid. However, we still are using it as a standard marker. And also T4, let's talk about that. So the first case, you have a diagnosis. Your T4 levels are probably low right here, okay? So they're low, so you're gonna get a medication, right? Synthroid, levothyroxine, something like that, and it's gonna add to your T4. You may or not feel better, okay? And then so situation number two, you go in and you get your blood work and everything checks out, it's good, but you know you're not feeling well. Here's what could be happening. Number one, T4 is converted to T3 in our liver, okay? And T3 is the active hormone that binds to a receptor that gets the message into the cell. So you potentially could have a liver problem because they give you all the T4, just, keep pumping it up, and if it's not converted to T3, you're still never gonna get the active form. You're not gonna get your message in the cell. Here's another situation. Perhaps you live in America and perhaps your air is toxic. Maybe your water's toxic, maybe your food is toxic, there's pesticides, maybe your meats, holy smokes, there's hormones and steroids. I mean, our food is unfortunately being ruined, and we are living in the most toxic time of human history. And all of these toxins are causing inflammation specifically of the membrane of the cell. So this lipid membrane is swelling, and what it's doing is it's blocking these receptors. So we can have everything check out on our blood work, the TSH, the T4. Perhaps you're seeing a functional doctor doing some of the blood work we do here where they check your T3. They also check your reverse T3 and your antibodies and really important things. And those could completely check out, like these are all amazing, but if there's inflammation here, that T3 is still not gonna get its message in the cell. So perhaps your problem is not a thyroid problem, but it's an inflammation problem. We talked about our air, our water, our food, all of these toxins that are bombarding us. But then also, what about the toxins that we're actually born with? What we find is the most detrimental toxins to our health are, there's three of them. And Dr. Pompa refers to them as the three evil amigos because they hide. But number one, we've got metals. So where do those come from? Number one, you're born with, metals are passed for 4 generations. You've got your moms, your grandmas, your great grandmas, and we're talking lead, mercury. I mean, there's a list. We usually check for about 26 of those heavy metals when we do a provoked urine challenge. And then we also find metals, there's lead in our pipes, right? And as cities start dumping fluoride into their water, it's leaching it from the pipes and you are drinking it. Mercury, this is a huge thing with silver fillings. Like we have some information, it was oh my goodness, it was in contact solution in the 80s. Let's just go ahead and put that in our eyes and our, terrible idea, right? But it's in silver fillings. So as a process of getting your whole body to very often we incorporate processes where we send to our favorite dentist that properly, that's important, properly removes these fillings. because that, I mean, the mercury, every time you eat something hot or cold, it's leaching into your body. But the thing is, metals are stored in deeper tissues, okay? Like your bone, your brain, you've got very deep tissues, and it is harder to pull them out. The second thing that could be creating your problem or your diagnosis or keeping you sick is mold, okay? So mold, this is something that you don't, it doesn't mean you live in a moldy house, but maybe you did. Maybe you worked in an environment where there was mold, or you went to school where there was mold. Holy smokes, I remember my freshman dorm, my first year of college, like we always smelled mold in the basement. It was just musty. There wasn't actually air conditioning there. And so mold, when you're exposed to it, it's a neurotoxin, and so it's stored in, again, the deeper tissues until you properly detox it out. And then the third thing is, oh, look at those numbers, 3 there. We go, hidden infections. I should work on my handwriting for these things, but hidden infections, this is more like Lyme, even Epstein-Barr, just other viruses that have we've accumulated and been exposed to. And then there's even, if we've had extractions, like wisdom teeth extractions, we can get what's called a cavitation, where the bone like creates a pocket like to wall off the infection, but then we have this infection that is actually locked in our body. So hidden infection, mold, and metals are 3 culprits that are contributing to these diseases, because here's the big take home right here. If you have a thyroid condition and you've been diagnosed with that and you're on a medication, the big question to ask is not, it is really, why is my T4 low? Why is it low? Is it a problem in the hypothalamus and the pituitary, like we're not sending enough of the TSH? Is it a problem in the liver and conversion? Is it a problem with inflammation to where you're not getting the messages in the cell? So the big take home message again is just asking why. No matter what your diagnosis, what your condition, it says why. So when we really trace everything back, because if it is something going on in the brain, guess what? It's probably metals, mold, or hidden infections. And so what's really important, if you feel like you have any of these, is a proper detox, right? To really getting those out of the deeper tissues. So just kind of show you here real quick. This is the True Cellular Detox. And this is something that we've implemented in our office, and it's amazing. It's so smooth. And I have to say, sometimes people need more coaching, which we offer that, and hormone support and blood work. But this is an amazing way that we've really customized it. So there's a packet in here for the morning, the afternoon, morning, afternoon. This is the first month, the second month, and the third month. Really important when you're detoxing is you can't always go straight for the cell. You have to. You got to clean out your liver. That's liver. You got to clean out your kidneys, your lymph, and then of course your gut, right? So we have to do this in phases. We have to do things in the right order in order to properly detox the cell, and then even pull the metals, mold, hidden infections from the deeper tissue like our brain, which that's really magical. Once that happens, the best thing I ever hear from people is, I feel like myself again. So how cool would that be if you could feel like yourself again? And we'd love to help you on this journey. So if you feel like you have toxins, call the office. We'd also love for you to subscribe to the channel or like the page. But call the office and schedule your inflammation testing. We will do a urine test that looks for the specific cellular membrane inflammation. We also do a visual contrast sensitivity test. Looking for biotoxins, and the questionnaire is going to help us dive even deeper into the reasons why. So thanks for listening.